Good morning, YouTube. How are you guys doing today? I hope that you guys are enjoying your day. So, honey, we got to talk about the fallout, everything that's happened since last Tuesday, when Kendrick Lamar decided to respond to Drake. Now, if you guys can remember, Drake had put out a diss track towards Kendrick Lamar, several people, Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, yada yada yada, right? So Kendrick took a minute to respond, but honey, when Kendrick finally responded last Tuesday, it was on, right? It was on. So I remember the first track, Euphoria, that Kendrick responded to. Drake responded to that. Then it was track after track after track. So we know that Kendrick pretty much annihilated um, Drake. But ever since then, Drake has been pretty much really, really been talked about really, really on the internet, right? So, so I found this on the internet. I thought it was very fitting because they have been calling Drake a culture vulture, among other things, right? So it seems to me because of Drake's ego, his ego has gotten him in trouble once again, and come to find out, I don't know why he felt like he could go up against Kendrick Lamar. I guess he felt like us Kendrick was really laid back, he was kind of chill, he seems to be kind of reclusive, just doing his own thing, minding his own business, really not wanting any of the drama anyway, right? So I guess, because Drake has an issue, in my opinion, with his identity. He felt like he could come at Kendrick. He felt like he could, if he could defeat Kendrick, I guess he would feel better about himself. Like I don't really know what his mindset was or why he thought he could try it, but yeah, he tried it, right? So anyway, moving right along, there are several allegations when it comes to Kendrick and these responses, and some of these responses were towards Drake, and relationships, right? So because there was several allegations with proof coming towards Drake, this made Drake want to retaliate even more. So he did another diss track, and when he did another diss track, what he did was he insulted Kendrick, and I think that it pissed Kendrick off because he had made a slave reference, right? He said something to the effect that Kendrick was singing like he was trying to free the slaves, honey, right? And so that's why they came up with this art on the internet. Now we know that he is culturally inept when it comes to he's from Canada, so he really doesn't have a grasp on culture when it comes to black people in the United States of America, right? They really don't have. He really is not. He's been here forever. He started. They slung him over there with Lil Wayne and all of them around there to New Orleans, and evidently he still doesn't get it because if he got it, why would you make a reference like that, a slave reference like that, which prompted Kendrick to come back and say that call him a colonizer, right? So since he was called a colonizer, after that they started calling him a culture vulture, right? So not only that, he made several claims. Now I don't even know why he felt like he needed to say that, but he said that Kendrick had been SA'd as a child. Kendrick came back and said no, that is not the case. I'm thinking, is he talking about himself? He just put it out the back of his head. Y'all, I found this on the internet as well. Check this out, because y'all know that Drake had asked. They said that Drake allegedly had asked the Hells Angels, which is a biker team, to come and protect him. I'm like, wait, what happened? And they was like, no, we don't fool with your kind, right? So be that as it may, maybe the biker gangs are real popular in Canada or something. I don't know, but anyway, we know that for a while he has been culture vulturing when it comes to rap in this country, right? Now Lil Wayne told him a long time ago he didn't follow Lil Wayne's advice. I guess he got offended by Lil Wayne's advice because Lil Wayne told him that he needed to stick to, his melodies, and his style of rapping, his Canadian style of rapping and being a crooner and a pop star, right? So he was offended by that evidently, And it was simmering in his soul. So when Lil Wayne got locked up, what did he do? He slept with Lil Wayne's girlfriend and started doing gangster rap. I'm thinking, how you gonna do gangster rap and you ain't no gangster? But he felt like that's what he wanted to do, right? So he's been ciphering and sucking up the energy. Um, because we know he twerk around in the synagogue of Satan. That's his heritage or whatever. If you think about it, that's his lineage comes from that, and so that's why he's got so reportedly got so many artifacts from artists like Tupac and Biggie, and he found Tupac's chain and bought it, and a whole lot of artifacts when it comes to rappers that him has been passing. When he did that first diss track, it was AI Tupac on it and an AI Snoop Dogg on it, right? And I'm thinking, really, right? So Drake really doesn't know where he fits in, especially when it comes to the U.S. He doesn't know where he fit in. In my opinion, he's a wannabe, right? So they've been calling him a culture vulture because they feel like he's been siphoning the culture from melanated people over here in this country, right? Okay, so they have their diss battle. Fast forward, and we know that Drake got bodied, right? And it really made Kendrick mad, in my opinion, when you start talking about Kendrick's son. He was questioning Kendrick if Kendrick's son was even his son at all. We know that Drake had said himself that he had to have a DNA test done on his son, and the reason why he had the DNA test done on his son, and he also said it was prolonged because there was some kind of accident with the DNA truck or something. They had to do it again or something like that. But before he would claim his son, he wanted to make sure that it was son because he got I don't mean no harm, but Drake got himself a whole trick baby, right? You gotta know what a trick baby is. I say he got him a trick baby. That allegedly he got two trick babies, but this trick baby, his son, Adonis, is from a ex porn star and an ex Italian porn star, I believe. And so that's why he wanted DNA to confirm um proof that this was his son. Of course, it's your son. You was drunk, honey, and you got tricked into this baby because the baby mama was, she was getting older, in my opinion, and she needed, some child support. But anyway, he couldn't hide this baby because of social media, right? But allegedly, he's got a daughter, and TikTok as well as Twitter, went crazy trying to find evidence of this. So allegedly, they found his daughter, but we know that he definitely got this trick baby by the Italian porn star, right? And so anyway, we all know that. I don't know. I think that's why he took a shot at Kendrick's baby, right? But Kendrick's baby is Kendrick's baby. He looked like him, So whatever that is, right? Whatever, right? So anyway, fast forward to the Rick Ross. Now, why Rick Ross stepped in and he was praising Kendrick? First let me say this. Some people are saying, why? You might be asking yourself, why is this Gen Xer talking about this rap battle? Well, this Gen Xer, meaning me, we Gen Xers were around before there was gangster rap. We remember when rap was about black consciousness, right? We remember when rap was all centered around New York, like people like Queen Latifah and all that crew right there at the beginning, Salt and Pepper, that whole crew right there. Shoot, Big Daddy Kane. Do y'all remember him? Do y'all have it? We remember the first rap song I heard was the Double Dutch Bus. Google it, honey. Google it. Okay. So anyway, we was around when rap was positive, right? Okay. Now we ain't gonna talk about now. Before there was a Drake, there was a I need love. When I'm alone in the room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl just as sweet as a dove. For the first time in my life, I see I need love. I need love. Hey, and if you don't know who that's by, you might need to Google it because I'm not going to tell you. So if you don't know who that's by, then you don't know that we Gen Xers were around at the beginning of rap, right? So anyway, move right along. Okay, I just had to stake my claim on rap. Why this Gen Xers, got a right to talk about rap. But anyway, move right along. Okay, so like I said, the reason why Drake got so upset when Rick Ross was praising Kendrick and saying Kendrick, pretty much, verbally beat Drake down, which he did, is because Rick Ross also at one point in time took Drake under his wing. Rick Ross is the one that introduced Drake to Lil Wayne and Birdman and his crew over there, right? So he was brought in under Rick Ross, right? But him and Rick Ross have had a beef for years, for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe it was something financial. I don't know, whatever it is. A lot of people don't seem to like Drake. He is egotistical. He is a culture vulture. He don't know where he fit in. He don't know how to stay in his lane. He a whole wannabe ninja, but he ain't no ninja. Okay. And so anyway, move right along, child. So a couple of days after Rick Ross was praising Kendrick Lamar's after he had bodied Drake, interestingly enough, Rick Ross' planes takes a nosedive and his plane was wrecked. Right now, Rick wasn't on the plane or whatever, but maybe it was a warning to Rick. Um, to stay out of it or stop commenting or whatever. I don't know what that was for, allegedly, right? But also allegedly, if you guys can remember years ago, before Triple X Tentacion, was murked or whatever. I'm gonna say it that way. When he got out of jail, he immediately started dissing Drake. He started dissing Drake for having ghostwriters and having doing him wrong, and the next thing you know, Triple X Tentacion is gunned down in an apparent robbery, and all this and all that. And people are saying allegedly that Drake and his crew has something to do with that, right? So we know that we're gonna fast forward from Drake. We know he got bodied, right? So we gotta talk about the industry, right? So UMG Records, which is pretty much Lucian Grange. We've been hearing a lot about Lucian Grange in the news, when it comes to Diddy and him being Diddy's sugar daddy and all this and all that. Well, interestingly enough, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Kendrick Lamar and Drake are both signed to UMG Records, right? So allegedly and reportedly, especially by TMZ, which TMZ, let them tell it they got all the news, right? So allegedly, Lucian Grange and UMG Records had a sit down via Zoom with Kendrick and Drake, right? And they wanted the beef to stop, right? So allegedly, that is um the reason why Drake made that last record, pretty much throwing in the towel, something part six to heartbeat or whatever, saying he ain't got time for it no more. And if you respond, I ain't responding, and blah blah this and blah blah that. Right, throwing in the towel, bending the knee to Kendrick, because everybody know he got beat anyway, right? And so Kendrick didn't respond after that. So why would he? Because he won, right? And so, because of a lot of the claims that were made, like Drake being a culture vulture, Drake, being culturally inept when it comes to this country, how you gonna be a gangster rapper? How you gonna know what it feels like to grow up, in the projects, and being like affiliated with gangs or trying to be not affiliated with gangs, just moving in this country, you know, you know, without any like real references, right? You're a middle class, guy from Canada, right? Like you culturally, you don't know nothing for real about this country. That is why they call him a culture vulture, right? And so they had the call, right? So on the Zoom call, let me go back a little bit. On the Zoom call, they wanted Kendrick to not respond to any more of Drake's disses or whatever, but they also wanted Kendrick to publicly apologize to Drake for the accusations that Kendrick made about him, right? He called him a P, and everything and all of this, right? So they wanted Kendrick to publicly apologize, right? And I'm thinking in my mind, I wish Kendrick would apologize to him for what? He ain't apologizing to Kendrick, and then Drake, the one that started it. So, but the reason why they wanted him to apologize, y'all, is because Drake signed a $400 million deal with UMG Records, right? So really, when it comes to UMG, they just worried about that money. And Drake also has deals with places like Nike and things of that nature, right? But UMG can't have its image tarnished because of that $400 million deal. Well, it seems to me like Drake shouldn't have started, but he called Kendrick out, right? Thinking that he could get somewhere with Kendrick, right? So anyway, allegedly that call happened. I have yet to, now y'all correct me if y'all have heard it, but I have yet to hear an apology coming from Kendrick, and I'm like, Kendrick better not, apologize to him. I don't care how much money is on the line. I don't care if they are, signed to a record label. He called Kendrick out, right? He woke the sleeping giant. Kendrick is over here minding his own business, staying in his lane. In my opinion, Drake feel away because Kendrick is real and he is not. Okay, he just cosplaying gangster rap. He's cosplaying the gangster. Like I said, he should have took Lil Wayne's advice and stayed in his own lane. He didn't do that, and now we're here, right? So, and also, before we get to the second part, also allegedly Drake wants a round two. He wants a round two with Kendrick. If I was Kendrick, I wouldn't be worried about doing no round two because he already won, right? He let him. That's why he let him have the last, diss track or whatever. If you call it that, I call it a white flag. I call it him admitting defeat, right? So evidently, rumors are going around that Drake wants a round two. Like real, if I was Kendrick, I would not pay no attention to no round two because he already won. And once you won, you won. You won't get to do. You don't get a do over from me, right? If it was me, So anyway, that's how I feel about it. But anyway, move right along. And also, a cool thing that Kendrick did was Kendrick has officially removed all copyrights from content creators, so the content creators can get reaction, do their reaction videos, right? And I think he did that because if it wasn't for, people on internet, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, big up and, his diss tracks and stuff, that helped him be number one on the Billboard chart, on the Apple Music chart, on the Spotify chart. And this is this diss tracks at one point in time. He was number one and number two on the Apple charts, and he was number five and number six, I believe, also on that same chart. And between one and two and five and six, Drake only had one of his records, which I believe was Family Matters, or it was one of them, child. Only one was on there, right? But our boy Kendrick had four at one time, right? So that's how powerful, he came out on. I mean, he asked for it, he got it. Like, what do you expect, right? So Kendrick is still alone. He's still, I mean, not Kendrick, but honey, Drake is still sitting alone, in his movie theater, looking at old movies and stuff. His ego is bruised, and he wants some payback, right? But now I also thought, now here's my conspiracy part, right? So a little while after that, we heard that there was a shooting at Drake's house, right? It said his security guard had been shot, right? So when this news came out, the first I heard about it was from Lovely T. Shout out to Lovely T. And a little bit after that, everybody started picking it up. But the first place I heard it from was from Lovely T. That said his security guard had been shot at his home, right? And they were trying to blame it on Kendrick Lamar because he did the video of Not Like Us, and this is a picture of his actual estate. All you have to do is Google where he lived and it'll come up, right? And so he had these red people, that comes, because that's what a yeah, we ain't even gonna go there. But anyway, y'all know what those red things stand for, right? So anyway, a guard, they said it was a drive-by, and a guard and one of Drake's security guards got shot and was in serious condition, right? So, honey, the propaganda machine went crazy, right? So this is why I felt afraid for Kendrick, because I thought this was finna be another Extension setup, right? Until I seen the internet protecting, I'm gonna say it again, Kendrick Lamar. Because like everybody said, what was Kendrick Lamar gonna do, cross the border and go shoot at Drake's house? He ain't even that kind of dude. Like, he a chill sort of dude, right? Like, why he got to do that? He already bodied him lyrically. Like, you know what I mean? That's playing checkers and not chess. He ain't got to do all that because he won, right? Like, Kendrick done called in some boys in Canada as if he knew anybody from Canada. That's like probably the man that's from Compton. He done flew his family from Compton, New York, honey, and he's still in low. He's kind of reclusive. until he pops out with another brilliant album. He stay in his own lane, right? So anyway, we knew that was a dud. We went so they tried to get the propaganda machine moving with that, right? So, but what we didn't know at the time, Drake really is having a offline feud. He is really into it, and it's really deep with no other than another Canada resident by the name of The Weekend. So The Weekend and Drake, The Weekend was discovered by Drake's people, right? So for a long time, the Weekend would ghostwrite. They say he ghostwrited like 5 or 6 songs on one or two of Drake's albums. And then Drake finally brought him on stage one night. And they thought that The Weekend was going to sign to them, but the feud comes in because Drake felt some kind of way because The Weekend did not sign to OVO Records. He signed to somebody else, right? Because I'm thinking The Weeknd didn't sign to Drake because he didn't want to keep on doing Drake, being Drake's, ghostwriter. He wanted to do his own thing. He got his own style. So he went elsewhere after he got, his come up from Drake, right? And so Drake has always felt a way about it. He's always, on The Weekend. So instead of them so you got two things going on. You got the propaganda machine, going against Kendrick because I thought they was trying to do Kendrick, and I'm not the only one that thought that Kendrick was going to be the next Tupac. We know what happened with Tupac, right? Because we know that not only, in my opinion, is BBL Drizzy a energy sucker, a energy kind of succubus when it comes to the music industry. He's kind of like a Diddy, right? So we know that he's twerking around in the synagogue of Satan, and he wants to suck up Kendrick's energy because Kendrick is so talented, right? He has his hand on the pulse of the culture in this country, and we know that Drake only cosplays, having his finger on the pulse of the culture, right? But when it comes to him and The Weeknd, they both reside in Canada, and actually before Drake's security guard got shot outside of his home, a week before that, The Weeknd's security guard had got shot at his home in a drive-by as well. The Weeknd's manager, I think, one of his security guards got shot by a drive-by as well. So people are really saying that Kendrick, we know that Kendrick ain't physically doing nothing because he done lyrically bodied them, right? We know he done took a bruise to his career because of Kendrick in this beef that Drake orchestrated. But between him and The Weeknd, it's getting really, serious for real, like offline for real. This gets serious implications, right? But the media, didn't want to mention anything like that. But they did mention the brown boy. They did mention Drake, a dark skinned Kendrick, in reference um to Drake's homes being shot up, knowing Kendrick didn't have nothing to do with it. So I'm thinking at first, okay, is he gonna end up like Tupac? Because they are because of this rap battle that Drake started, and Kendrick doing him the way that he's doing him, it's costing them millions of dollars, right? But that is Drake's fault, not Kendrick's fault, because like I said, he started with Kendrick, right? So anyway, but there is real beef between The Weeknd and Drake, right? And so if so, but then also there was an arrest made when it comes to Drake's bodyguard being shot. And they said the guy was mentally ill, and he was taken into custody for trespassing. The shooting of the security guard, which they say was serious, and he's still in the hospital. But he was also taken in for a mental evaluation, right? And not only that, Thursday, well, yesterday morning, there was another attempt for somebody else trying to get onto Drake's property. Nobody was hurt. The security took him down and called the police. He was arrested as well, right? And so, for some reason, uh, a lot of people are upset with Drake. Imagine that. And not only that, in Canada, also in London, Drake has an OVO store or whatever, and they even vandalized the store. Shout out to Lovely T. Says Drake's OVO store in London has been vandalized. So we can see on the we can see on the window it says they not like us, right? So child, even in London, they are loving Kendrick's diss track. So this has taken when what Drake did was he because of his ego, he felt like he wanted to be the best rapper in the world because he feel like he's the best rapper in the world. He wanted to go up against the actual, best rapper right there in the world, which is Kendrick Lamar, right? And so he didn't make anything any better because he still cosplays blackness, and everybody knows it, right? But he need to be worried about the weekend because you got the weekend coming in on the rear, right? Because the weekend is sick of him because he's sick of being, being quiet when he comes out to what's going on between XO and OVO. And we really don't know a lot about that because that's happening in Canada, really. But don't be trying to bring Kendrick in on some kind of actual physical violence when he really ain't got nothing to do with it, right? So anyway, because of this $400 million, right now you can't trust Lucy Grange, allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly, because I just really felt like they was trying to orchestrate another Tupac takedown, in my opinion, right? So for future reference, Drake needs to go back to Lil Brain's advice and stay in his lane, right? So he's still, he'll make another album, a little pop star album, because he's a pop star. He is not a gangster rapper, no matter how many braids he got going to the back, child, he still ain't a gangster rapper, okay? It don't matter what he say, it don't matter what he dreaming. He don't have his finger on the pulse of the culture. And at this point in time, he just looks ridiculous, right? Because he done been defeated. But they'll still get some money out of him, and they're not going to let him. They're not going to lose $400+ million, should I say, right? And but what they need to do is what Drake need to be doing is worried about, like I said, is the weekend right here, right? Because he got real beef with the weekend, and Kendrick ain't got to worry about him no more because Kendrick already won. He done what he had to do, right? He done proved his point. He didn't start it in the first place, and it is what it is. And it don't matter what Drake say about Kendrick's family, his wife, referencing his son. At the end of the day, Drake still got a trick baby or two out there floating around in the atmosphere, right? Because it is what it is, right? And they call him BBL Drizzy, by the way, on my way out the door, is because they say he allegedly had some kind of liposuction and some kind of surgery where you create a six pack or whatever. So the guy named so the there's a guy that makes lyrics or whatever, not lyrics, but makes the music in the background, whatever you call it. Anyway, his name is Metro Boomin, and he is the one that named Drake BBL Drizzy, and so everybody is calling him BBL Drizzy because the work that he had done. They said he had his nose fixed and he had, and also he has prosthetic abs, y'all. Okay. Now I remember I seen a video. I actually did a video a while back of Drake Honey showing on Instagram, showing his nightly routine. He showed us his facial routine for night. He showed how he takes care of his hair and lays it down, under the do rag at night. We know that pretty much Drake is also a social media hoe, and he is a troll when it comes to social media. But and also they say he's been planting stories that are lies about Kendrick Lamar. So we're gonna have to see if this a round two on Drake's part. We're gonna have to see if Kendrick is going to respond. In my opinion, Kendrick don't have to because he already done beat him, and it ain't no do overs, in the industry, right? So he shouldn't. If you don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. But that's all I got, y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. Thanks for watching this premiere. I realize it was a little long, but honey, it was a lot to talk about, right? It was a lot to talk about. Let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment section below. Okay, do you think BBL Drizzy is going to go for a round two when it comes to Drake? And if he tries it, do you think that Kendrick Lamar will respond, right? Do you think that Kendrick has to respond? Because in my opinion, I don't think he has to respond because he done knocked him out once, and there's no need for a rematch. There's nothing else, that needs to be said. He threw in the towel. He said you could drop 100 records, and I'll see you later. So why are you gonna say that? And then now you're gonna want a round two. You already threw in the towel. So anyway, that's all I got. Like, share, subscribe. If you choose to subscribe to the channel, please hit that notifications bell so that you will be notified when I drop another video. You guys have a nice day. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Peace.